you don't have just one blood pressure, you have a range.
Right.
So we've got a bottom and a top. Yeah, I think 139 was probably your high. Low was 120. So we got 19 points. If we can keep hitting at 126, I'll take that.
Me too.
And the lower is 76. So it isn't like you just dial up a number. It's your breathing and your ebb and flow that you are recording. So at any one point, if you just took a blood pressure and told the person what it was, that isn't really the range. That's the blood pressure for that moment. The gal in here this morning, bad traffic, coffee, she was up. I said, hey, look, I went back and looked at you since 2015. You've never had it that high. So come in this next week if you still feel it. But you've just told me you're overworked this week as well. You got an art show and you got teaching or whatever she does elsewhere. She's already being told by us, hey, you got too many distractions. Why don't you start thinking about taking care of yourself a little bit? Slow down. And so suddenly the dentist is not trying to do anything but help the patient get a verification that maybe what they're thinking they need to do, and that's to kind of cut back a little bit, allow more time, maybe not do too much more, say no to some stuff. Now I want to see what happens when I raise him up. And his body has to reset. The dog's going to jump down on the floor because I'm going to sit him completely up. Hey, bud. Time to dismiss.
Thank you, Jerry.
Yeah. Bye-bye. All right. That noise that you hear tells me that on my tongue, even with my appliance, I probably will put in my upper or my balance to correct, because what I'm doing is many times I engage with this too much and my own tongue feels the need to tighten up and things get out of kilter. So I will if it doesn't. All right, so we just sat you up, and if everything is hunky-dory, whatever that means, we'll write that on the chart.
Are you saying that this can affect your voice at times?
It just did.
Because I've felt that before I ever started doing this.
Yeah, we keep coming back to swallowing, speaking, and breathing. We've got 3 codes. What does OSB do? Treats impaired oral function by balancing oral function. And we use 3 parameters: swallowing, speaking, and breathing. So that's why you were saying those.
Yeah, because there's been times when I felt like my voice was kind of weak or something.
Well, it is. I've had people in such bad shape that you can't hear them. You know, my brother, he's got Parkinson. His tongue's literally occluded his throat. He's not in a position for me to help him, but his voice is so low that you have to get up in his face to hear it. This is messy stuff. We joke around, but we see Parkinson's patients that get well, his brother-in-law. And unfortunately, my brother is end stage of Parkinson's. And too little, too late. But we're here to avoid this, not even getting to this level. That's why I like to see younger people all the time. Not for sure, but I think I'd have my daughter today if we'd been able to provide the services we provide other young people now. We had a couple kids. So that's 142 over 81. So for total transparency, we'll see if that goes down. Father got orders for middle of Australia, some government site. And so the whole family gets to go. And he's flunking out of school because he's not sleeping at night, can't concentrate. And they've had him in a private tutoring situation to try to make up the grades. And he falls asleep. He's, in addition to that, he's very hyper, somewhat combative, and I mean, just a mess. And everything's on hold. And they're in our church, and so she heard about us, brought him over. We put an appliance in, and in I think it was about a week, he came back and it was all gone. A teacher called from school that was tutoring him and said, "What's up?" I said, "Well, we got this appliance in." So I said, "You're going to need a duplicate, because if you don't have a duplicate and this breaks, he's going to revert back in 4 days." Got the call just before they were leaving to go to Australia. It's now 11 something. The boys come home from school and he'd lost his appliance. Now, they can't go there and take him because they didn't get the duplicate. And it's like a spare tire in your car. When you need it, you really need it. So, fortunately, I'd gone on and made a duplicate and had in their box, and on the way to the airport, I quickly delivered it, and he perked right up, and we're in the process of making another one, because you can't be in the middle of the Australian outback, and there's no dentist out there to support that. So we're going to get him another appliance. So he feels bad, but, you know, it's what happens. You got to be thinking ahead with these appliances, that people, after they've gotten used to it and value it, you ask them, "What would it be like if I kept this for a week?" And they say, "Oh, no, you don't." Well, you better start thinking about a spare. And we make it for about half the cost, because we just make it off of what they're currently wearing. But in an emergency, the 127 over 85. So we gave him a little chance to equilibrate. This is the real thing, you know.
Yeah.
We're watching how the autonomic nervous system works and responds to changes in the mouth.
Just interesting point. Even when it went up, when you set me up, I still felt calm.
Good. So there may be another dimension to this. That peace, calm feeling is less likely to be a major problem as he's adjusting. Where if he sits up and has that, oh my gosh, the other shoe's going to fall, or I feel anxious, on edge, yeah, that could be just before his heart attack or a bad case of AFib. So now
I see a direct correlation between adrenaline, which is the uncommonness
Yeah.
inside, and my blood pressure.
Sure. He's unusual, and most of the time it's the pulse. The pulse is out of sight. You know, I had one lady call it 130 over something all day, and they'd not done anything with OSB, but they wanted to know what to do. And we just suggested, the doctor I was with actually was their patient. Take 2 spitballs, push your jaw forward. Now you're sitting on the spitballs, so you've opened up the vertical and you've got your jaw forward, so the tongue came forward. And within 40 minutes or so, patient's blood pulse had gone down. It wasn't the blood pressure. Jim's a little different, and than most people, it's the pulse. But we're thankful for Jim because it's, you can see, a lot of patients we have with high blood pressure immediately respond when we start working with this, but they usually, the pulse is what we see high. And they wanted to ship her to another hospital and do a pacemaker that evening. And just think of what happened, or would have happened to that lady. She'd been dependent on that all her life. So you can make an emergency appliance with 2 spitballs, 1 on each side, and bring your jaw forward. This can be tested. You don't have to take our word for it. Bill. Actually, we're going to test it on Jim. I got to get some blue wax. I'll be right back.